Into the mic.
I'm in line for Lego Dimensions.
Yes.
Which I can talk about way later. We can end on that. But I get a text from Kyle Bossman who says, you must do the Arkham demo. Must is in all caps.
I don't do all caps very often.
No. I don't get texts from Kyle Bossman very often. And it's completely out of left field. I'm planning on immediately going from Lego Dimensions right into Injustice 2. And like, okay, well, that's a whole different haul. I got to totally change. You know, we were maybe planning on doing something around 3:35, 4 o'clock. So I'm just like, all right, well, how am I going to fit this in? And I was nervous because when I actually went over there, the way they were doing the line was they're like, you can get in line, but this is for Sony VR. You're not getting in line for Batman. You're getting in line for whatever the hell we throw you at.
It's a standby line. Yeah.
And so I get in line and I immediately grab like the two people behind me and the two people in front of me, and I'm like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And they were like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, would you really want to do Batman? And they're like, no, not really. I'm like, because I might have to like shove you aside and try to do Batman. They're like, okay.
That's
like,
a good strategy.
And I say the same things behind me.
That's
and like
cool.
The two people this way and the two people that way were like totally on my team. They were like, no, it's fine. If you have to do Batman, we'll get you in there. We all got in to do Batman, so it worked out. But like I said before, if you guys are just tuning in now, this is the first modern. I did the first version of the Oculus Rift, which I hear basically just doesn't even exist anymore. It's like they've completely improved the tech, and I realized that Vive is like the absolute best. So this is not only my real first experience with commercial VR, but my first time trying PlayStation VR. And I mean, do we want to talk about VR first, or do we want to go through the demo?
I want to go through the demo, so you go ahead and talk about VR, and then we'll talk about Batman in particular.
So I put the sucker on, and he's like, you can press this button on the bottom of the headset and push it in towards your eyes to focus it.
I didn't know that.
And
Dang.
Yeah, it moves in and out.
Okay.
And so I hit the button and push it in, and I want it to keep going. I'm like, it's like focusing, and I'm like, no, keep focusing, and I just basically push it in like as far as it can go.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, I'm like, this is extremely blurry. Like this is like. And like maybe it's because I need like glasses, like I do wear glasses when I edit and stuff like that. I'm like maybe I should get contacts for this thing if I like, really want to dive into VR.
Yeah, but that's like distance, isn't it?
But like the visuals, I was kind of bummed right out of the gate. Like this is clearly I think it's like PlayStation VR, Oculus 5, and just you know from how I can gauge it from a distance. And then about 2 minutes later, I was in.
Yeah.
They're really. It's like decompressing coming up from the bottom of the ocean. You know, where you're just like you need a little bit to like totally get immersed. Did not get sick at all. Was did absolutely every part of it. I heard there were two different demos. Unfortunately, it was actually when I was at IGN. They interviewed a guy in front of me who explained to the demo, and I guess there's like a detective case that you do in the second part. But Kyle and I both did the Batcave section.
Can I do some setup for this?
Please do.
So, outside of this booth is Rocksteady's staff. And not just like some goofballs that they hire to come out here and run but like the people who are making this game.
Cool.
And I talked to them about like, hey, how long has this been in production? And they said, oh, well, when we finished Arkham Knight, we started working on this.
Yeah.
And I said, what? This isn't some bad B team? And they're like, no, it's us. Rocksteady is a one-game studio. We've been working on this for 1 year. This is their game. Batman Arkham VR is their game, and they put all of their love into this game.
You were going to be able to buy this, right? This will be like $5 on the PlayStation Store. Or something,
I talked about price. They don't know yet. They're actually...
But we will be able to get it. Like, this isn't going away. It wasn't just an E3 fad.
This is a launch title.
Okay, thank God.
Though, Jones, they did say it's going to be probably an hour and a half long, so don't expect it to be super long, this Batman VR.
Well, even an hour and a half was way longer than what I think people could do at the show.
Okay, cool.
Like, what I did, that was like 10 minutes, right? Like, this was a real quick...
Oh, yeah.
Just the first part of it was very quick.
But that just... I want to set everybody's expectations that this thing is, like, great.
Yeah.
This is... Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
If you want to... Let's do experience now, Jones.
Compare it visually, Kyle, to Resident Evil 7.
It's better. It's better than Resident Evil 7.
Is it so pixelated?
It's still pixelated. I think the textures are better, but this one is built for PlayStation VR. Everything feels more natural. Like Jones says, when you first hop in, you're like, "Oh, this is VR." But then it doesn't matter. It
really doesn't.
Like
By the end of it, I took it off and was like, "Thank you, that was great, thank you." You know, like I walked out like that was a lot of fun. So I want to put my nerd hat on. I want to just have the nerd alarm go off a little bit. I have two different perspectives on this demo. I want to start, I want to get to the goods and talk about what happened, how it works in VR, things I liked about the way that was handled in VR and things that I didn't. And then just very briefly, I would like to talk about things that I feel don't make sense in the world of Batman. In fact, if they're really getting into like, no, you're becoming Batman, I'm like, well then why is... Okay, whatever. Like, there's just a couple of things I'm like, okay, Batman would never do this.
I'm not looking forward to these things.
But I'll do that later because it obviously doesn't matter. It's a VR demo. It's not, they're not like trying to like accurately recreate the universe contextually. They just want to like create a system that puts you in it. This was not a controller demo. This was you're standing still.
Yep. You're holding 2 move controllers.
Not there is stuff behind you, but it's not, nothing sneaks up on you or nothing is like, woohoo, over here. Like, it's all really just just kind of like this.
You can look behind you at any time if you want to.
There is stuff there, but there's not... There's nothing. There's no time I look back and I was like, "Oh, I'm real glad I caught that." It's just like the environment continues in 360
degrees. Were you guys standing up when you played your VR?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was sitting down for all of mine. So the whole thing about Kyle saying, "Look back," I'm like, I was sitting like, turn like this. I couldn't like quick go like this.
I didn't look back a lot because I was nervous that I was gonna.
Not that easy when you're sitting.
That I was gonna, like. I didn't want to like start walking around and bump into something, like I was like, let me just try to be as stationary as I can. I don't want to like elbow the guy. That's like, it is funny to see people test VR because they do have to. It's like being around a sleepwalker.
Jones.
Whoa.
I was opposite, man. I was testing that thing's limits.
Okay.
You start
Good
off.
for you.
You start off in front of a piano,
Yeah.
and you can actually like go low. You can look beneath the piano. You can flip it open with the key that Alfred hands to you, and you can put your face right down to the piano keys.
Oh, that's
and you can
cool.
like watch yourself
that's cool.
press down
I
the
didn't
key.
do that, yeah.
Just the how much you can zoom in.
Are you okay, Master Bruce? You're like, I'm fine.
Yeah. I'm fine, Alfred. Blah blah blah. Just being in worlds, being in digital worlds is a feeling.
The default, even before that, the calibration screen is you right on the edge of a building in Gotham.
Yeah.
So you can just see like straight down the edge of the building and billboards and stuff like that. So so that calibrates and then fades to black, fades up. You're in the middle of Wayne Manor, standing in front of a piano. They got the picture of Bruce and Thomas and Martha there on the piano. They have the red phone to the left, which you could pick up. Did anything happen? I picked it up and held it to my ear. And
I didn't pick it up. I didn't dare to.
Yeah, I picked it up and held it to my ear. All you do is triggers. They have the 2 move controllers.
Yeah.
And you can see your hands, and so they do a little grip thing when you pick stuff up. So I picked up the phone, held it up, and I was wondering if I thought it'd be great if Gordon was like, hello.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But then you very intentionally, Alfred comes from the right, so they kind of train you to like, whoa, who's talking? Oh, hi, Alfred. Different Alfred. I thought that was weird.
Oh, because it's not the Alfred from the Arkham
Not the
games.
Alfred from the Arkham games.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And I don't think it was the same voice actor.
That's interesting.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
Because that is definitely
weird.
it is definitely the Batman from Arkham, not the Batcave either. Like a very more of a Dark Knight Batman Begins Batman.
Kevin Conroy for Batman. It is.
Dark Knight.
Say
Yeah.
it is a Kevin Conroy.
No, not confirmed.
No, I don't believe it was Conroy. Yeah.
What?
I didn't really.
I'm out.
I didn't really talk that much, dude. It's like a demo.
Well, I
it's like
Yeah.
They
Oh,
always
it's weird because they have Mark Hamill.
It might be
Yeah.
Tempfio. It might be Tempfio.
If he was in all the whole Arkham trilogy.
If we,
I can't speak with confidence about it, Huber. I'm
they-
sorry.
they
If
rotate him on
we
the
do want to
movies,
get in it,
though.
and I just want to put my opinion on the table, I was never actually a massive fan of Kevin Conroy being in the Arkham games to begin with.
Oh, the Arkham games.
Wow.
I don't want to have a huge argument right now, Jones. Please
Because
move on.
because Kevin Conroy is the animated series Batman. So
Yeah.
when I see this like super ripped like next gen like what's up, and I'm like whoa
later.
like you're
It's way after the events of
It's just-
all the animated series.
so that's Batman Beyond, dude.
Ooh,
like they
nice.
told
This
that
is
story.
Before Batman Beyond, it's in between. That's how I always looked at it.
They're clearly different universes. I wouldn't have minded if it was different. That's what I like about Origins. When they did Origins, I was like, okay, different Joker, different Batman. Now like tell me a story now, because it's like that pairing. So anyway.
Greg Miller confirmed it's Kevin Conroy, says Chad.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I don't remember him talking that much.
He doesn't
It was
talk too much.
Yeah, it's
It would be a little
Alfred,
weird
Alfred's
in
talking to
VR
you the
for
whole time.
yourself to be talking a lot.
So he comes in and Alfred says, I believe this is what you were looking for. And he gives you the key. Took me a while to figure out where the key went. They do give you little prompts where they do a little flashing move controller where they're like, here, you're supposed to do this. So I'm like, find the key, open up the piano. You play anything on the piano, I would assume, and that opens up your entrance to the Batcave, which you are conveniently standing on. I did just...
It plays a
on the
tune.
piano, yeah. Well, I did
Oh, nice,
Yeah, I
Jones.
just started one end and went
That's
down.
cool. You did this, and I was like a total weirdo, just
Yeah.
like gonk, 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 gonk.
So floor opens up beneath you, and then basically the demo is you just descending into the Batcave. You stop halfway to try on the Batsuit, and then you drop down further to the Batcave.
Don't just skip that, Jones.
No, I'm not gonna skip it.
Don't just skip trying on the Batsuit.
I'm just setting up context so people understand just kind of how this works.
Ooh, you go down in this dome room.
So you drop down.
Oh man,
and you're going by like
there's spikes on the floor. Yes.
And again, you can look all the way around you, but there's nothing behind you but gears and stuff like that. But then you drop down into the where he puts on the Batsuit. There's this pod right in front of you that opens up, or moves towards you, opens up, and then there's the Batsuit. You reach forward and grab like the bat signal, which is kind of weird, and then you like have to turn that around and put it on your chest, and then it just poofs, disappears, and then you have it on. Even though you can't see you, when you look straight down, it's just hands.
Yes.
And
now the belt.
The belt only appears, I think, when you get the batarangs.
I think when you get the suit. I think as soon as you get the suit,
I remember looking down and only
belt.
seeing hands.
Yeah.
It might have been before I put the suit on. So then you put the suit on, that moves away, and then gauntlets come out, and they have little...
no, not just like machines, tubes.
And they have little handle things, so you gotta like grab both and twist them.
And by the way, over here too, you can like creep around it, and you can like look at these tubes.
I didn't do any of that.
Looking under things.
Angles.
Welcome
You
to
can
next
look-
generation.
I love
Kyle
it.
Bossman.
I love it so much.
Looking under stuff.
And you shove your hands into this thing, and then you take them back out, and you have Batman hands now.
And what's Huber?
Kyle Bossman will get a concussion when
Huber,
he gets
one of
VR
the best
until-
details of this thing. That was
Yeah,
like rocks. Well done. In the very beginning, when you just see your hands, they're all bruised and like got a couple cuts on them and stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
So when you
Beating some thugs.
have the gauntlets on, then now your hands are the Batsuit. So it was like the only like Batsuit that you could see on yourself for looking down at your body. And then the coolest part, the cowl comes down and you actually can pick that up and look at it and then move it towards your face. Fades to black, fades up. Computer panel comes down and basically shows you as Batman.
And this is unreal.
And this, I was like a little self-conscious because it started grinning, and I was like, there's some guy in queue waiting for me to be done with the Batman demo so he can play it, and he's clearly looking at me smiling and be like, what a dork. Because I like, enjoying this Batman demo, and I didn't care. I was like, I'm getting a huge kick out of this.
You're looking in the
'Cause,
mirror,
you
and
you just rotate your head
Batman.
in any direction, and like it's.
And you can like move the hands.
You are the Arkham Batman, yeah. It's
and
a trip.
like he'll like dance with you. It was oh my gosh, and you can like
and his
lean
shoulders
forward.
move too, so
yeah,
he's like doing like big flexing with his arms and stuff.
Unreal, Jones.
That's pretty cool.
At that point, oh my god, you are like you're Batman. You're looking in the mirror and you're Batman.
No, I'm Batman.
Right.
Damiani, you can be. If you just put on this VR helmet, you can be Batman.
So my favorite contextual moment of physically doing something that I was not expecting was after you put on the cowl, they give you a grappling hook and they give you your detective gun. And the grappling hook pops up first, and you have to grab it, and then you can look at that in your hand. And then it asks you to put it on your belt.
Yes.
And it was really interesting because my first contextual thing was something that actually I didn't see. It actually happened outside of my view. But I really got a kick out of doing that. You know, just
you
like
did it without even looking?
Yeah, just
that's
like,
classy,
all right,
Jones.
I'm gonna put that, and I was like,
man.
and I remember being like, that's not gonna work, is it? It's not gonna register that I like let go of the trigger right there, and it totally did. It was like click, like oh, you put your thing on, and then like I grabbed the detective thing, look at it, click, put that there.
Oh, that's
and
classy.
that just felt so good. You know, and it didn't rumble or anything. It was just in my brain. Oh, also worth noting, when I started to go down in an elevator, it felt like I was in a friggin' elevator. I don't know how I don't know what was happening to my brain, but it was like I feel like I'm moving right now. Like,
Yeah,
that was surreal.
I didn't get to do any PSVR this year, but rigs, like when somebody shoots your rig, and it loses power, you eject up into the air, and it's the same thing. Like, just, whoa!
That was just pure, like, puppetry of my brain. That was nuts.
Yeah.
So
like,
speaking of VR freedom, though, if you don't just immediately put them on your belt, you can shoot your grappling hook all over in any direction, and you can like flip it upside down. And
I didn't do that, but when I got the batarangs, I was like,
yeah, because the next thing you get is batarangs, infinite battery. You pull them off your belt.
So the next thing you get is you reach down, you pick up a batarang, and they do targets, and you can chuck it at the targets, and it locks onto the targets, but not 100%.
Yeah.
Like you can totally whiff the targets. So you do have to, and you can see your hand like while you're throwing them. So you do kind of have to like it's like a 50-50 thing. I liked it.
Yeah.
And then Alfred's like, okay, everything's calibrated. We'll bring it back down to the Batcave. And then while I was like moving back down to the Batcave, I just like you look down at your belt and you could now see the batarang in front of your belt, and I was just like, I just kept like throwing him.
Yes.
And you could see him just like go out into the Batcave. And then, Arkham music swells. You come out of, like, the little, tube of the Batcave, and then it's just waterfalls.
Oh, my
Bat
God.
computer, giant Penny, T-Rex,
Yeah,
like all
the
this, all
music,
the
and
crazy
you're just
Yeah,
iconic
what's the
things.
music?
Uh,
What was the music playing during that part?
Bum 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 bum. Just the Arkham tunes, yeah. The music that plays when you put in the disc for Arkham Knight and just that loops during the menu, like the Arkham theme.
Oh my God. Yeah. And this is where you start to see,
not
like,
the Dark Knight. I know what it is.
you start to see what this game will be because you're seeing the points where you can use your grappling hook on inside of the Batcave. The Batcave is huge.
Damn it.
It's so deep. Verticality. The giant penny, though, Jones. When I saw the giant penny, I'm like, oh, this is the Batcave.
So that again, another moment where I was grinning from ear to ear. It's like, oh God, I don't want to leave. I was like,
Yeah.
because I didn't know the second demo wasn't going to be in it. I was like, oh, I can't wait to do the detective thing. And then, like, when I felt his hands on my hand, I was like, no!
Yeah, I know.
I'm checking out of the Matrix. And then, yeah, when you get to the bottom, this huge computer panel comes up, and then you, I think, throw a switch or something like that, and then it moves on to the next part.
They didn't even let me throw a switch.
I might be lying. I think, there was one last switch before you move down.
Okay,
Before
yeah.
you drop down into the back
Again,
here.
and you can, with that switch, Jones, you can actually, like, look over into it and then watch your hand press down on the switch. It's so cool.
We just need a montage, Kyle, when we get PSVR. Just you looking under everything and like Kyle inspects VR worlds.
I'll retweet this. Somebody actually recorded me playing this game in VR and tweeted that at me. I
Nice.
should retweet it. Just so everyone can see because I do
good.
look so stupid.
Good.
We're gonna live stream it for sure.
Yeah, I had a blast.
I really enjoyed this. I wish I had done that. I wish I had kind of like looked at it a little more carefully. And
VR is so flexible.
I was tempted to just walk around to Alfred,
You
just
can
get,
do
like,
that
lined
because
up
you
on
can
it.
do that. It's so flexible.
I will
it's there
definitely.
for you.
Yeah, I think I wanted to like be in character for the first time, and then again, if they sell this, I'm gonna play this about 50 times.
It's a
Like, I'm
launch
just gonna
title.
Keep going.
They're definitely selling it.
Again and again. And if there's more to it, wow, I didn't know it would be longer than what I played. The only thing that I and again, this is kind of my hesitance to VR is a lot of things when it comes to main entertainment, like I'm all or nothing. Like I either want to be all in or I'm just gonna be a casual observer. It's kind of like what Huber and I got into a debate on a recent podcast where he's like, the thing about horror is you have to be really immersed. And I was like, yes, I 100% believe that.
Let your guard down.
So that was kind of my thing about VR is like I don't want to dive in until it's really, really good. Like this is a tech I don't necessarily need to see the baby steps of.
Yeah.
And so like the one thing that is a little iffy for me is the hands. Like there is a little bit of like, oh, there's that object click.
Oh
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, like
and sometimes they'll still be like, "Bleh," that'll happen
because like
sometimes.
when you hit that trigger and it does that, like even like I know there's tech now where you can actually like see all your fingers and like put gloves on and put different things on. So I imagine that's even crazy trippier.
They had
than
a
that.
really crazy thing at the Deus Ex booth. They had an actual like bionic arm maker there.
Oh yeah, I saw that Judges Week. Yeah, they
So
showed that off.
there's this arm in a
crazy,
glass case, and you just like put your hand up next to it and like start doing this, and the camera like and the arm does the exact same thing.
Trippy. But that was a little weird. It was weird looking down and seeing the belt and the batarangs, but not me. I
you want your body?
I had no body.
The
like
pecs.
that would be cool. Well, just like put your like if it would register my foots there, like look out and look at my boots and stuff like that. So again, like it's to be actually completely immersed. Because it was kind of like Damiani said earlier, and I wish this wasn't so, but there's just something about my brain that is constantly challenging VR. There's just like anytime I really like hit that threshold where it's like, wow, I'm finally immersed, my brain is really trying to pull me back and be like, no, this isn't happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm looking forward to getting past that, but this did not make me ill at all. I never felt uncomfortable. I never felt out of control. I never felt like I didn't understand anything or I couldn't use anything. I really enjoyed that. If I could just be nerdy for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I have an issue with the entrance to the Batcave being right in the middle of the living room of Wayne Manor.
Jones,
I have an issue with the entrance to the Batcave being by 5 wide open windows in the middle of the day. It's like, what if pizza delivery came by? What if there was like a newscopter that was just flying by Wayne Manor? And they're like, whoa, look at Bruce Wayne descending into the Batcave clearly in the middle of his house. Like the Batcave is like around the corner in a hallway. Like, like...
his windows don't work
You're
like
not
that.
like, oh,
Number
it's-
one, his windows don't work like that.
You could see outside. You could
see
out
outside,
the
but they
front
can't
way
see in. They can't see in.
Oh, okay.
Number
Okay,
two,
thank
it's not
goodness.
just in the world. It's not just mashing on the keys. It's a very particular order of keys that could never been predicted by even the Riddler.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying anyone else could get in there. It was just a very every single iteration I've ever seen of the entrance to the Batcave. It's always like around the corner. It's always like I mean, even in Batman Forever, which is not the best of movies, like Robin has to be very tricky in actually how he gets down there.
Yeah.
It was just like. It's just right there. It was like, and especially like it's one thing if it's like in his office in a fish tank, in the corner. He's got to like roll his arm up and get it in there. It was the key to the Batcave was the sole object in the middle of the first room you enter in the Wayman. I just thought that was like a little. I just thought that was a little silly. I'm not knocking Rocksteady.
You're being a bossman about this right now. That's
about
a nitpick.
Batman. You bet your ass.
Yeah. That's a nitpick.
The other thing that I found hilarious, again, nothing I would change at all about the demo, but it did crack me up. From what I heard from the IGN interview, the case that you are investigating is actually deeply emotional to Batman. If you're a Batman fan, and I do not know, I can't spoil this because I don't know the answer.
Oh, I do. Do you want to know the answer?
But the guy at IGN, whisper it to me later, I guess. But
okay, sounds like no. Sounds like we shouldn't. Okay.
But you go to a crime scene that it's not just some random person. Basically.
Yeah.
It's like there's stuff going on that it connects to Batman, and Alfred kind of hints at that when he walks up to you. He's like, oh. Something happened. Gordon called, or you need to go somewhere, and then you take the slowest ride ever imaginable down to the back. It's kind of like, oh no, my friend's in danger. And I thought that was kind of funny. It's like this, and maybe don't, make it the most important thing ever. If I'm gonna be like, oh, look at my gun. I thought contextually I thought that was kind of funny.
Jones, I bet you'll get that news after you're already in the cave.
Sure.
Because you need to add some urgency, and you can't do that while you're doing the tutorial of how to use VR.
Because we're like months, if not a year, away from PSVR. Oh no, is it the summer? Oh, it's like
October,
right? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see them maybe tweaking it or kind of like customizing this one specific section to be E3 ready. To make more sense. As a shortened, concise demo.
Zelda's my favorite game of E3. Batman's my favorite thing that I did during E3.
Cool.
I was on the verge of tears when they took that off. It was that emotional. I was super scared. I'm super scared to be someone in public being like, you remember when Kinect was real and people, there were people in videos and podcasts were just like, Kinect is the future. I had just unreal experiences with Kinect. This is where everything's going. I feel like one of those idiots. I feel like I could be that, but this I had an emotional connection to this weird Batman demo. I hate Batman, and I love this. I loved being Batman.
I think the most exciting thing for me is to look at a character in their eyes and have them look back at me. I think that'll be cooler than any explosion or mech I could be in or a game I've previously played that I can now see realized in 3D. It's like I'll never forget going after the first hydroplane section in Half-Life 2 and getting to the base where you go in and they scan you and then you pop in and you finally meet really NPCs. Some of the first NPCs in the game, they're like, "Hi, Gordon," and they bring you in.
Yeah.
And I remember them having a conversation with me and looking back and forth between them. I'm like, I really feel like I'm in this space right now. I really feel like these people are looking at me and having the next frontier of that. That just makes me giddy. Just looking at Alfred, Alfred, you're looking at me. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I got a big kick out of it. Batman.
Batman.
Thank you, Kyle, for
Thanks.
forcing me to do that.
That was the one thing I wanted to talk about tonight. I'm good.